You gonna pay attention?
Oh, sorry.
May 17th, Lowell, Massachusetts. The sure thing Mark Shurman and this guy, Scotty Slade, are gonna be taking on the real deal Brandon Locke and Scott Reed. The time for fun and games is over.
Fun and games?
This is the last stop before breaking point. Fun and games are out the window.
What about Trivial Pursuit? What about Operation Mousetrap?
Shurman! If you don't take this serious, they're gonna beat you up so bad, you're not gonna be able to cash that contract in.
What?
Poof! Gone!
No.
Yes.
What? Scott Reed and Brandon Locke? I'm telling you right now, we're gonna connect 4. And in this game of life, you guys are in deep trouble. So you two morons should get a clue. I'm pissed.
You should be. So Locke and Reed, May 17th, Lowell, Mass. You're in for some trouble, brother.
Yahtzee!
You ready to go play some Monopoly?
Can I be the top hat?
As long as I'm the car. Yes!
Yes!
Let's do it.
Do it loud, brother.
I think this is fake.
You can't say that.
I can say that.
Wrestling's not fake!
It's still real to me, damn it.
The unscripted, uncensored, loose cannon of commentary. This ain't WCW. This ain't Monday Night Raw. This ain't SmackDown. This ain't even WWE.
Do I have everybody's attention now?
The recognized symbol of excellence in sports entertainment.
You're listening to Marks on Commentary. Hey guys, welcome to Marks on Commentary. I'm Kathryn.
I'm Jason.
As you know, this is our 20th episode. It's the first time I actually get to open the show. Of course, it's only because Eddie isn't here tonight in what I believe to be retaliation, because I have been absent a lot. I apologize, but never fear, I'm back, and I've brought us special guests. We're very excited to welcome Scotty Slade and the Chaotic Wrestling Heavyweight Champion, Mark Shurman. Hey guys, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having us.
How's it going?
Good.
Welcome.
So, thank you very much for being here. So tomorrow night, Friday, Chaotic Wrestling is going to be at the Polish American Veterans Club in Lowell. What does the night hold for the two of you?
Well, Sherman's got the, Sherman, you want to take care of that one?
If you want to start.
Oh, brother. Sherman's got, is in the main event tomorrow. He's taking on the brand new bad Todd Hansen. He's going to defend his heavyweight title for the first time, so hopefully he's bringing his A game, because I got faith in him.
That's it. Yeah, I'm fired up, and, I've been training hard, and,
No, you haven't.
Todd's ready for me.
So I know it hasn't been so easy for Shurman to get the title. Scotty, can you go over what happened when you were fired from Chaotic Wrestling, and then maybe segue into how Shurman became champion?
Yeah, pretty much at Breaking Point, Sean Gorman had, run this whole angle where he had pretty much, it came up to a point where Todd Hansen was going to represent Sean Gorman and Brian Fury was representing Chaotic Wrestling. And the winner of that match actually gained rights to Chaotic Wrestling. If somehow Todd Hansen lost, then Gorman's group would have split up and that would have been the end of it. Well, Brian Fury couldn't get the job done, and so Sean Gorman takes over. Next time we're out in Lowell, me and Shurman decided to interrupt Gorman's first inaugural promo, whatever you want to call it. He got pissed, put me and Chester Fernicola in a loser gets fired match. And after some interference, some outside trickery, I guess you could call it, I ended up losing and then getting fired on the spot. What we didn't expect to happen was such an uproar from the fans' perspective.
I expected it, Scotty.
Of course you did. You had the Shermaniacs that were starting a Bring Back Scotty campaign. There was several other local fans that were showing up with their support with signs, T-shirts, stuff like that. And then, fortunately enough, one night there was a tournament to declare number one contendership because Brian Fury got himself hurt.
Which I was there, by the way. That looked painful.
Oh my God! I must have watched that clip at least a dozen times. Which he got his cast off the other day, so things are progressing.
That's exciting.
But yeah, so I was actually Brian Fury's replacement. I beat Mikey Webb, but went on to
Tell him how.
tell oh, God. From my best friend Mark Shurman, pulling a little fast one, putting all the ballots with my name on it inside, so no matter what, my name was going to get pulled. So my name gets pulled, I go out there, I beat Mikey Webb, and then the following show in Woburn, I got to face Todd Hansen, and for those who didn't see it, Todd Hansen ended up beating me by skin of his teeth with the help of Sean Gorman, and that's what leads us to later on in the night when Sean Burke defeated Brian Malonis because of Sean Gorman. And then the music hits, Mark Shurman's comes out, cashes in his contract, and wins a heavyweight title. I think that's pretty much all of it, right, Sherman?
Yeah, you got it.
So, can you tell a little bit of the saga of how the two of you met and how the two of you began working together?
Sure. I guess you could say. When Sherman first started training, nobody really knew what to do with the kid. He, as you can tell just from the brief moments we've had talking to him on here, he's very loud. He's kind of all over the place. That's him. That's just how he is. And no companies really wanted to deal with that. They just felt like he was just a nuisance, whatever. And Chaotic Wrestling kind of saw potential. And at the time, I was with Alexis, and I was just as big a loudmouth as he was. And so they kind of figured this was going to be a sink or swim combination. Both of us were so over the top that one of two things would happen. We would get put together, and we would just clash with each other miserably, and we would outshine each other, and it would be terrible, and nobody would like it, and that would be the end of it. What ended up happening was you got the odd couple scenario. You got essentially Sherman's feel-good, happy-go-lucky, very excited to just be in the ring, and you've got me kind of like the bitter guy that's been around forever, frustrated that he's just never taking anything serious, and from there just plenty of comedic bits and whatnot have just ensued since then. I think September 29th marks a year that we've been together, so
Nice.
So I hope Mark Sherman got me something.
What'd you get me?
You'll see tomorrow.
It's gonna be 2K14, baby.
Okay, you got it.
So where was it that both of you did train?
Sherman, do you want to talk about where you trained first?
Yeah, Scotty and I are the same age, but I started late. I signed up 3.5 years ago, and I started. It was the Chaotic Training Center in North Andover, former Killer Kowalski's, and now it's Brian Fury School, the New England Pro Wrestling Academy. And just like Scotty said, it's not easy, going in there. And I thought I was going to walk in and waltz in, and I thought it was going to be a cakewalk. But little I know, even hitting the ropes hurts. So I went off the ropes, and those are real cables. And I remember leaving the first class, and I had bruises underneath my armpits. I was like, oh God, this is not going to be easy. And it takes time and patience, but yeah, Fury's been really patient with me. I definitely appreciate that. And the handful of guys at Chaotic as well. They definitely, and Scotty as well. So
yeah, I have a lot of patience for Mark Sherman. As far as for me, yeah, I started when I was 18, so about 11 years ago, and I started with Brutal Bob Evans. He had showed me a lot of the basics and whatnot, and then I kind of moved up north and trained briefly with Steve Bradley, and worked closely with him over the years for his company that he had before his passing. I had taken a break for a few years. My mother had gotten real sick, wanted to finish college, kind of get the old backup plan lined up, since being my size, wrestling wasn't exactly working out. And then Brian Fury had become a trainer over at the CTC, and he gave me a call one day because we had been friends forever, and he asked me if I wanted to give it one more go. I said, sure, why not? And everything else seemed to have been cemented as far as everything else going on in my life. And so between Brian Fury, as much as I don't want to say his name, Todd Hansen, and Brian Malonis, they helped kind of like shape what I've become now. Mostly Brian, but it's been 11 years of too long of wrestling, that's for sure.
Was there a specific thing that made you decide to want to be a wrestler, or was it just you grew up as a fan and always loved the business?
Me personally, growing up, my older brother at the time was an actor. He had passed away from a drunk driving accident, so I had always wanted to find a way to continue kind of like what he did, because when I was so young, I looked up to him, seeing, like Hollywood, all that other stuff, and but acting just wasn't like my forte. I just couldn't get into anything like that. And I'd always loved wrestling, and I kind of just backed up into it because I had only known about Killer Kowalski's. And when I had found out that there was a wrestling school locally, I felt that this was a way for me to get into the entertainment business, to almost continue that for something that for somebody that I had looked up to for so long. And that's how I personally got into it.
Nice.
Shurman?
For me, I grew up watching wrestling. It was my favorite show. Fanatic, went to all the events. And, I was a class clown. If you look at my yearbook at Ann Arbor High School, I went class clown. And, I emulated all the wrestlers all the time. And, I started working out with weights to pick up chicks, to be quite honest with you.
We both know that's a lie. You don't lift weights.
I know, but I honestly was a string bean, if you look at my high school pictures, and I started to look like a wrestler, and I started growing to myself and got the braces off, and I looked in the mirror and I was like, I could do this, like, you know what I mean? And I'm like, why not try? You only live once. Why not chase a dream? Why not just give it a chance? And I asked my parents, because I grew up in Andover. The wrestling school was in North Andover, and I used to actually go to the Chaotic shows when they first opened. And my parents said, we don't want you to go to wrestling school. Get your college degree, and maybe then if you get your college degree, we'll let you talk to wrestling school. So I graduated, college, and I whipped out my sheepskin, and I said, remember, Mom and Dad, what you guys said? I'm just gonna give it a try, and that's what being a fanatic and growing into my body, and emulating wrestlers anyways, is part of the deal. So I gave it a go.
Nice. What would you say is like an early memory of like wrestling that you both have?
At least for me was oh God, and I'm gonna get it wrong. Was WrestleMania 5, Shurman, with Warrior Hogan? Or was it
6.
No, 6. Get it right.
Oh God, let's hopefully Fury doesn't hear that. He'll chew me out. It was WrestleMania 6. It was like the first pay-per-view that my parents had paid for, and because that was the black box era. But anyway, that was like the first one that they paid for, and I just remember being such a Warrior fan that going into it, I was just like, "There's no way he's gonna beat Hogan. Like Hogan's just this immortalized giant." And finally seeing Warrior come out on top going into school the next day, and seeing all of the upset Hogan fans. That was like my first real true memory of knowing of wrestling.
Nice. Awesome.
I have so many early memories, but what got me hooked? I flipped through the channels. I saw it on Fox 25. When I was late summer of 1991, and my next door neighbor just moved on the street. He was my age, and he had all the figures and the magazines, and I was just learning how to read. I was like, learning how to read all the magazines again to know all the characters, and I just became hooked from there. Like I got all the WWF magazine subscriptions for Hanukkah and Christmas, and all the Hasbro action figures, the video games, and I used to sit in front of the Scribblies when the pay-per-views came out. My parents said, "Hell no, they're not paying for the pay-per-view." So I would sit 3 hours in front of Scribblies and hear the commentary and play the action figures in front of the TV. So I did that 4 times a year, and then 5 times a year, and then 12 times a year, until I learned how to order it on one time I learned how to order it on Request TV and call up and pretend I was my dad and say, hey, my Nick Pope's son, ordered the pay-per-view and I don't, condone it. Please take that off my bill. And I started free pay-per-view that way. So.
Awesome. Very cool.
Yep.
So do you guys have like a favorite match that you've ever wrestled in, or a favorite opponent that you've ever wrestled?
Oh, Shurman, you go first.
I mean, the first time I got to wrestle Tommy Dreamer. I used to stay up till 1 a.m. on the Spanish channel in middle school and just watch ECW and just thought it was so cool. And to be able to wrestle in the ring, in the Lowell PAV, where I'm going to be wrestling tomorrow against, Todd. It was a dream come true. It's just unreal. You know what I mean? It was an honor. I got to go through a table, and I honestly I was on cloud nine the whole rest of that week. So. How about you, Scotty?
Me? Actually, honestly, it's kind of like a tie, I guess you could say. Like that match with Todd Hansen meant a lot to me because most of my career I've always been like shrugged off. Like I've never been given an opportunity to be put on a larger platform. I've always been like the mouthpiece for a lot of guys, and I've worked so closely with Todd over the years, training wise, that like we both knew that what I could bring to the table, and Caddick just happened to give me a chance for that to shine. But other than that, my brief opportunity to be on television with WWE, to me was a big deal. Even though it was just a typical squash match, it was some sick, twisted, I guess you could say, validation for a lot of guys growing up because of my size, telling me that there'd be no chance, anything like that. And I'm not saying that by any means that I thought I made it at that point. It was just a good sticking point. To look back at all those guys and said I would never have an opportunity to work in front of Vince or in that locker room and to be able to be on TV.
Nice.
And then, Mark, I know you were a security guard on Raw twice, right? Or was it SmackDown?
3 times.
3 times?
Actually, one time on SmackDown and 2 times on Raw.
Awesome.
I didn't realize it was 3 times. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
And actually, that was one of my favorite segments that year. So, oh goodness, I was pretty excited when I figured out that was you. Won't lie. So, can you guys maybe talk us through a little bit of the process about how you guys got pulled to have those spots? Was it done through the training school, or how were you contacted to do those?
As far as for me...
Hold on, Scotty. Do we want to give away the secret? Maybe all the other wrestlers will hear this.
That's true.
Vince called us 101 and said, I don't know.
we want you. At least for me, it was just Ryback when he was coming in. Like that was like his gimmick at the time, just squashing guys, and they needed smaller guys, and they had called Fury School, and Fury had just recommended a few guys. So I had gotten a call from them. No idea. The best part was I was at work, and it had said Stamford, Connecticut, and because I didn't recognize the number, I didn't pick up. I'm like, if I don't know them, it's important to leave a message. So when I checked the message and they told me it's WWE and they want me, to bring me in to work Raw, I literally, called up Fury and I go, Fury, what's going on? He goes, why are you even calling me right now? Call them back as quickly as possible. So that's pretty much how that happened. And how'd you get on, Shurman?
Yeah, I got an email. I got someone's email from WWE, and I sent them a couple of videos, a couple of pictures, and I got a phone call the next day to come down in like 2 weeks to Boston and Mohegan Sun. And I actually never even, I wasn't even on the Chaotic roster at the time. I was so green. They just wanted to take a peek, and the next couple times they call me up, after the fact. I've been emailing back and forth with a couple, talent relations people over there, but that's it in a nutshell.
Nice. So maybe could you talk about like what's it like showing up to like an event like that? Like what's some of the etiquette that you have to go through? Do you even know what you're doing that day and who tells you and stuff like that?
Trying not to crap pants is probably the best scenario. Because when you get there, essentially, it's at least for me and any of the other guys that it's their first time, it's completely nerve-wracking. You have to wait outside talent relations, and you wait there until they're ready to see you. Like, essentially, like, you're the bottom guy in the totem pole. You don't even matter. Like, you're there to assist them if they need anybody extra. So, as far as, like, etiquette's concerned, like, if you see anybody, be super friendly. The worst thing you want to do is to upset somebody just because, you didn't say hello or anything like that. But, you wait outside talent relations, you fill out all the forms, and then you sit ringside and you wait for William Regal. And then, which takes hours at times, and then when he talks to you, you just shut up and listen. Nice. It really is just like a fall in line type thing. For SmackDown the next day, like, we were fortunate enough, because that Raw was that first Raw that they had ran an extra hour, so they had so much to go over that we didn't really get much ring time. And so the next night at SmackDown, we were paired off, and we had like 5-6 minute matches with Armstrong reffing, and Regal kind of watching over and giving everybody feedback. So that in that retrospect, like that's pretty much the routine. And then you just stuff your face at catering.
Nice.
And I'm not entirely positive, but I'm pretty sure you're the only one of Ryback's people that got squashed that actually got a microphone.
Yeah, that's a good call on their part. I mean, I'm not going to toot my own horn. But, yeah, they had made a big deal to us that because this is live, like, they made us go through that segment, like, 600 times, it felt like. And, it was just, I guess it was just luck of the draw. I told them right away that they had nothing to worry about. I said I wasn't going to screw up my lines. But, I was very fortunate to be able to get some mic time.
Nice.
Shurman, you want to tell him, Shurman, about what you did before we left SmackDown? At catering?
No.
What happens?
Was hanging like that.
What happens is when you get catering, like everybody's in the same room, so you're pretty much sharing the same room with all the talent, and everything you could possibly think of for food is out there. And then about midway through the show, they switch it over to like pastries, Danish, and like cookies. So it's time for us to leave. Show's over. Everybody's cleaning up. We're trying to get out of there, and nobody can find Shurman. We don't know where he is. We've looked up and down. We went back to our locker room. We're walking around. Nobody knows where he is. I asked if anybody checked catering. We walk by catering. No, no word of a lie. He's just handfuls upon handfuls of cookies, shoving them in his pockets. His hands for the
no. Not true. Not true.
I don't know. Not that I know you, but I have been. It seems like something you would do.
No.
Oh man.
Oh goodness. So I mean, as fans, when we watch a match, I mean, we look for things that keep us entertained. Big spots, fancy moves. They keep us, interested in a match. As wrestlers, when you're watching a match, what kind of things are you looking for, or what kind of things do you try to incorporate into your own matches to make them better?
At least with me, the way that like I always tell a lot of guys, and I tell Shurman this every week. As fans, you guys can watch wrestling whenever you want. It's on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and that's just WWE. You can watch it on YouTube, all that other stuff. When you guys come to a live show, you want to be brought in. Like you want to be part of it. And some guys just don't do it. That's their own choice. But at least with somebody like me, at least what I like to look for and what I like to do myself, I like to turn to the people. I like to try to interact with the crowd as much as I can to try to draw them in, because at the end of the day, like, you guys are coming out, you guys are getting in your cars, you're driving to the shows, you're making just as much of an effort to get there as I am. And I want to make sure that you guys feel just as much as I do during the match, whether it's, turning around, pulling you in somehow, but that's what I personally like. I like to get the crowd involved. What about you, Shurman?
I like to have a match that I would want to see. You know what I mean? And I liked when I was a little kid. I remember just like what Scotty said, like a Hulk Hogan type of guy didn't do any backflips, but he brought you in. I was like, I thought I was a part of the match, and he looked out in the crowd. And, should I shake his hand, or just little things that you don't. It's good. It's storytelling and laying the crowd into it. Like even like Vince McMahon is awesome at it. Certain people can get the crowd going, and that's what Bobby Heenan was great at it. Just bringing the crowd in, like he said, interaction. Because sometimes people just wrestle for themselves, and sometimes people wrestle for an audience. I'd like to make the audience part of the show and let them know that they are.
Nice. Now, do you guys ever feel like jaded from like the product? Like since you guys are involved with it, does it take anything away or does it add anything?
I mean, it's weird. Like when I signed up for wrestling school, I walked in and I was proud to be a wrestling fan, and everyone told me, you're either a wrestler or you're a fan. You can't be both. And I never understood that. You know what I mean? You either do you want to be a part? Do you want to be on the show, or do you want to look up to them? And they gave me that ultimatum, and I just kind of like ignored that ultimatum. And I'm still a fan. And I like to wrestle. And if people have a problem with that, they can meet me out in the back parking lot. You know what I mean?
Oh God.
And even Scotty, like people try to intimidate you in the back and try to tell you that you can't like the product, but it's like you wouldn't have signed up for wrestling school if you didn't like wrestling. You know what I mean? So, sometimes at times it can get you jaded, because you see maybe, hey, I could be on that show, but overall, there's a love that you'll always have for it. It's always there for you every Monday night.
Right on.
As far as like for me, the product now has given me a little bit more hope than if this was, say, 10 years ago. 10 years ago, guys like Mark Shurman would be the ones that would only get looked at. A guy like Daniel Bryan. Yeah, what? A guy like, Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, like, not taking anything away from him, but who knows if they'd even be considered 10 years ago. And it's an evolving product where it is more entertainment now than it's ever been, which is great for guys like me. I'm no physical specimen, but at the same time, if I can put on 30 more pounds, then anything's possible. So am I like jaded by the product? No, I think the direction it's going in gives guys like myself hope, but at the same time, it's still a show, and it's still frustrating to see guys get signed and get brought in that either have no talent or just in it for the money. And while guys like myself, who've been in for almost 11 years on and off, are just clawing at the opportunity just to do anything and may never get that chance.
Nice. Let's see.
Well, I guess kind of following along the same line, I mean, it seems like you do both still watch the product. Are there any people now that really stand out to you as more than being fantastic wrestlers, but just someone that you really want to emulate, or someone that you want to just kind of follow because you think they're going places?
Ooh, I don't know about. That's tough. I'm a big fan of Cody Rhodes. As far as like current, I've like
Pre
my
or
favorite.
post mustache?
Either or. Is there really a wrong answer with that one? But yeah, I'm really happy with what they're doing with like Cody, but like Jericho's always been my favorite, and so like even anytime I get to see him now, even at his age, just watching him evolve, because other than that, it's just been guys like Gregory Helms and Jamie Noble that I've always like looked up to, as far as wrestling's concerned. What about you, Shurman?
I don't really, since I'm in the business, here's the difference. I mean, if I emulate someone now, then I won't ever have a job. You got to be different. You can't be the same as the next guy. But I like watching Dolph Ziggler. And I like watching, I like Daniel Bryan. He really is a great wrestler. But what put him over the top is his entertainment value, what he brought to the table with the stupid yes and no and all that, interacting with the crowd, getting the crowd involved. That's, he's doing it. You know what I mean? It's, those guys, if they're on, definitely tune in. Those guys, are attention grabbers. And,
Vince is going to be so happy with you.
I know.
They weren't tuning in before, but now that you put your stamp of approval.
Now they're going to watch.
So we do have some Twitter questions for you guys.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be excellent.
No.
So from @Brian Albertson, for both Mark and Scotty, up to this point, what has been your most pivotal and/or career-defining moment? So we kind of brushed on that.
Shurman, you go first.
I mean, the thing I'm most proud of is that on YouTube, if you go on YouTube, there's a story of Mark Shurman. I don't know if you guys.
Amazing and hilarious.
I saw that. That's pretty cool.
I can show my kids that if I break my back and can never wrestle ever again tomorrow, I have something that I can show my kids, and that is honestly, means so much to me, and I'll have it for the rest of my life. And that's, go check it out on YouTube. Type Mark Shurman, enter, and it's usually at the top.
As far as me, I would say as far as pivotal, it really was when Brian Fury decided to really go out on a limb and go the extra mile to not only get me back into wrestling, but to work closely with me. He's pretty much, I don't want to say single-handedly, but because of how close we are and the fact that I'm always over his house, always able to watch wrestling, pick his brain, he's really been a driving force, because my first 4 years in wrestling were nothing. It really was just like any other generic indie guy, go out there, clap hands, have a terrible match, come in the back, and then that's it. And when I walked away, I didn't expect to come back. I just figured that, that was it, whatever. I wasn't any good at it. So for Brian to go out on a limb like that, call me up, really kind of get in my head and say, not to let it get me down and really just give it one more go. I would say that to me was the difference between being able to go out there tomorrow to support Shurman in a main event scenario than sitting at home playing Grand Theft Auto. Although if Shurman loses, I prefer to play Grand Theft Auto.
What?
Yeah, I don't want to be out there when you lose, dummy.
Oh.
I think it's easy.
All right, from @Nancy Albertson, what are the most important connections you've made in the wrestling business?
Shurman, you go first on this one too.
When you say connections, I mean,
I don't know, it's a Twitter question. It's not my definition.
I mean, I'm honestly, I've met some good friends in wrestling.
What about your best friend?
Yeah, Scotty's honestly, he's helped me through a lot. You got Julian is a kid. I wish he came back, but when I first started out, he's the only one who wanted to get in the ring with me in front of a crowd. So I'll give him props for that, for believing in me. And Ilya, my little Greek buddy over in Kentucky right now, and Biff Hughes, like an East Coast cowboy.
You just want to read the list, don't you?
Matt Taven, Brian Malone,
Martino.
Gino Martino. No, honestly, even Chase the Logans, they always come up to me if they think that I can incorporate something. They definitely, make mention, which is kind of cool. But they gave feedback. The best part of being on the chaotic roster is, they're all veterans. I'm the newest guy on the roster, besides a couple of Fury students, and they know what they're talking about. When they come up and they say something, I listen, and I got good people around me, making sure I'm going forward.
As far as my greatest connection, it's going to sound corny, but my greatest connection is obviously going to be Mark Shurman. And the reason why I say that is this: I'm an extremely hot-headed person. Most of the times, me flipping out is just easy because that's what I'm used to, and because Mark Shurman is just so off the wall and flamboyant, and because we've gotten stuck together, which is a good thing. Shurman, it's a good thing, and because we've been traveling to so many places together, he's essentially over the past year has been able to ground me. Not only patience-wise, but just it helps me approach matches a lot differently. It allows me to think more clearly. Before, it was just if somebody started acting like Shurman in the past, I'd just get hot-headed. I'd not look down on them, but just be like, listen, we're here. We're here to do a job. We're not here to have fun. And with Mark, he's really over the years has been able to bring more fun to wrestling for me. And when you add fun to wrestling, that's when you can really start to bring out more and more entertainment rather than being so focused on the moves and just getting the job done.
Nice.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, no problem.
So, I mean,
Thanks
I have seen you guys.
Thanks for naming me. It was good.
I have seen you guys at other promotions than just Chaotic. Actually, at NEFW was the first time I saw you guys. It was actually my first indie show in general.
Wait. NEFW, you saw me and Shurman?
I think so.
Wait, hold on. Did Scotty come up to the back, Britney Spears?
I don't remember. I have the worst memory ever when it comes to this stuff. It was a while ago, but it was my first show ever, and it was actually the reason I kept going to shows.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
Tell NEFW to book Scotty Slade for crying out loud.
If I had any power to, I would.
You
But
do.
at this point, when you guys
you don't
go
even
to
know
other, at this point, when you guys go to other promotions, do they just expect the two of you to come, or do you guys choose to go places together and stay with each other?
Most of the time, companies will approach either myself or Shurman and ask for both of us. It's gotten to the point that, even though he cheats on me, it's gotten to the point that we're seen as an entity, and the only other entity that Shurman's seen as is with what's his name, Gregory Edwards.
You don't know his name, dude?
I know it's Gregory Edwards, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I do the wingman deal on the with Top Rope, but sometimes I always ask, can we bring Scotty Slade in wherever I go? Because honest to God, the loudest crowd reactions I get with him, whether it's CTWE, Chaotic, NECW, even when we're bad guys, we get cheered. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, so most companies will ask for us both. And any companies that may not be aware of Mark Shurman, like I work for Wrestling on Fire, they run down in Jersey. They've been using me solo for a while now. I've been trying to get them to check out some stuff of me and Shurman. But for the most part, I would say at least 75% of promoters that approach us want friendship to come in rather than one or the other.
Nice.
We have another Twitter question from Nancy.
I'm going to sneak in.
Oh, you're going to sneak in?
Yeah. At Logan Landers wants to know, what's the worst bump you guys have ever taken?
Oh, Shurman, you have a bad bump?
One time I was wrestling Psycho, and I'm supposed to be doing a dance, and I did a split, and I really did a split, and I was finished the match I was limping around for 3-4 weeks, I didn't go to the hospital or anything, but dude, I got pretty hurt. I get bumps and bruises all the time. I have to go to work on Monday, so if people tell me to do this, that, and the other thing, and I don't want to do it, I say no. So I know what my limits are and what I can and can't do.
I've had two that stand out. One was when I first started. I was a year in, and I had faced this team called the Noise Boys, and their tag finish at the time was it was essentially a razor's edge type deal. They picked you up like a crucifix, and they essentially both sat out with it, and you kind of landed in between them. and I was barely soaking wet, 125 pounds at the time. And they had never done it to a guy my size, and I was so anxious that I launched myself, and they launched. They had lost me in the air, and as I came down, they had caught me, and I just remember seeing my feet, and then I landed right on the back of my head, and my body folded up, and my knees had touched the sides of my ears, and I couldn't move. I ended up getting checked out by doctors. I was sidelined for 6 months.
Oh, jeez.
And then the other one recently happened at the last show for CTWE. Off just a simple drop kick, I had misjudged the size of the ring, and the drop kick was a bit low. And when I pushed myself off, and I had turned to land on my stomach, I had caught the middle rope, so my body essentially did a reverse sit-up and completely folded up. And I tore an abdomen and severe muscle strain in my back. Doctors said I got lucky that I didn't break anything or slip any discs, but still to this day, right before my match with Todd, I wasn't able to fully rotate left or right. I'm still not 100%. And but yeah, mostly those are the only real 2 bad bumps. I've been very fortunate.
Now, you guys,
That's painful.
you mentioned briefly that, Monday you got to go back to work or whatever. What do you guys do in real life to feed your addictions in the ring? If you don't mind me asking.
Oh no, that's fine. As far as for me, I work at a food and wellness center in Providence, Rhode Island. Essentially, what we do is we feed most of Providence, anybody that's less fortunate or homeless, once a week, pretty much like a shopping market style. With a whole book registration. We have a doctor's office, we have a thrift store, we've got a walk-in freezer to give them frozen foods. So I manage that, and we do the toy drives, we give away turkeys around Thanksgiving, and so that's pretty much how I pay the bills week in and week out. So it's kind of hard to go from calling women sloppy broads and kids nerds, and then going there Monday morning and trying to tell a little old lady to take her time going up the stairs. Let me hold your hand.
Awesome.
What do you do, Shurman?
I work for GE. I'm a sales consultant, and basically travel to different GE sites. Sometimes, play 3 out of 4 weeks in a month, and on Monday I'm going to Austin, Texas. Basically go down the site, make friends with HR, see some people, and kind of talk about benefits with G employees and that kind of thing. So initially I did it over the phone, and sometimes you just can't turn down promotion. So Theory yells at me why are you at wrestling school? This, that, the other thing. It's I'm on an airplane. I'm not around this week, but it's one of those deals. You got the sacrifices, and you got to weigh out what's important to you. And I refuse to live on the streets. You know what I mean?
Understandable. So we do have 2 more questions from Nancy.
Of course we do.
Yes! I love those 2.
All right. So the first one is for Scotty. So you have 3 men.
Yes,
you have 3
yes,
choices. You have
yes,
to
I'm single.
flick or fondle. All right. Mark Shurman, Brian Fury, or Mikey Webb.
Okay, you're gonna have to restart. I was putting over how single I am. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So you have to choose to slap, lick, or fondle the following 3 guys: Mark Shurman, Brian Fury, or Mikey Webb.
You already told me I'm the handsomest.
Slap, lick, and fondle.
Apparently, yes.
Well, that's awkward. It's genuinely I'm getting weird douche chills right now. Slap, lick, and fondle, huh?
Just wait, Shurman, your turn is coming.
Yeah. It's easy. I know Mikey Webb. Mikey Webb is tiny and hung like a horsefly, so I'm gonna fondle Mikey Webb. 'Cause it really won't be doing anything. It'll be playing like two peas. In a pod. Shurman sweats and Fury's hairy. I'm gonna slap Shurman and I'll lick Fury. We'll work it that way. I'd rather pick hair out of my mouth than gross, disgusting sweat off of Shurman.
All right, Shurman, same choices, except you have Scotty Slade, Brian Fury, and Gregory Edwards.
You know what?
You have to slap, lick, and fondle one of them.
I've slapped, licked, and fondled all three of them at the same time.
It's weird but true.
It felt great, and I'll do it again.
Oh, man.
Well, that answers that question.
Yep.
Why, yes, it does. So do you guys, I guess, lastly, do you guys have any, like, great road stories that you can tell? Because I know you guys have to go all over the place for matches. Has there been any funny stories to share?
No, but hey, hold on. I gotta cut you off. My mother wants to meet Scotty Slade, but Scotty's too afraid to come to Andover, Massachusetts.
It's not true. Would you just answer? Listen.
No.
There's no reason to bring stories about your mother.
I'm gonna listen to this podcast. And
I would love to meet Dee Dee. Okay? I'd love to meet Dee Dee. You're the one that doesn't bring me around. Okay?
You're coming over.
All right. Fine. This is private talk.
Yeah.
It's not something we should be arguing about now.
We're taking a picture and put it on Facebook.
Oh, fine. We'll take a picture. Would you just answer her question?
Oh, some road stories?
Oh, yes. Do you have any good road stories?
Oh, that time when Fury broke his ankle, we were driving hospital to hospital, and on the way home, you know, the first hospital in Springfield, Mass, cause the show was in Chicopee, it was like 5-hour wait, so he's like, let's go to another hospital. So it was another hospital in Springfield, and that was another 5 hours. And so I went on my phone. He's like, look for another hospital on the way home towards Worcester. Let's head back. Let's head back. And I go, hey, there's a Zippers hospital in Worcester. Do you want to go there? He goes, sure, let's go. So we're driving back an hour. He's in screaming in pain. He's straight edge. I'm like, dude, just take Advil. Like, it's not drugs, you idiot. Just, take it. And he's like, no. I was like, all right. And we finally get to Worcester, and I'm like, don't worry, we're like 1 mile away. We'll turn right here, and we'll be at Zippers Hospital. And we pull up to this, like, jacket, like, fixing place. And it's like a... it's a coat fixing place, and he's like, fucking Shurman. Oh, my God.
Whoa, family show.
No.
No.
Not in the least.
But that was a funny one.
That's it? That's all you got?
On the way there, wasn't he tweeting the entire time complaining about your musical choice?
Oh, he does it every time. He only carpools with me if he has to, which he has to.
What's
So
on
I
the,
want to
what's
know
on
what
the
you were
iPod?
playing that annoyed him so much.
He honestly, he acts like he hates me in the public, but like when no one's around, he loves me.
What's loaded on the iPod?
I like everything. I like the music's so bad these days that I'm starting to like country music. I like Zach Brown.
That's just
I grew up on the Goo Goo Dolls. I like some rap, some hip hop, like Snoop Dogg. And then I like some cheesy stuff. I like Magic 106.7, bedtime magic love songs and all that jazz. So, Scotty listens. What do you listen to? He likes the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. I've seen Scotty.
There's nothing wrong with a good boy band. I'm texting Fury, trying to get approval. I've got a story, but it really is graphic, and I'm probably gonna just not tell it. It's just, but the other story I can tell, which I'm really hoping he gets back to me. The other story was when I first started, like, just when I turned like 21, we were all the way up in Vermont. Like, I mean, like, this is Hickville. Like, the front row barely has a full set of teeth, and like we had just left a, which I don't condone strip clubs, but like we had just left a strip club that was so hick that it was behind a bedsheet in a bowling alley. And, yeah, it was pretty bad. Oh, he's got back to me. God damn it. And on our way home, it was snowing terribly. You could barely see 2 feet in front of you.
So normal Maine weather.
Yeah, normal Maine weather. And it was like 3, 4 in the morning, and I don't know if we had hit a patch of black ice or if he had just lost control of the car, but on the non-rail side, it was a complete drop-off where it looked like it was a long, giant ditch. And the reason why I tell this story is everybody always wonders, like, what you'll do in the face of death. And I now know what I will do in the face of death. And what happens is I'm sitting in the back seat. We hit this ice. We start spinning. We're doing 360s. And the driver's like, we'll be okay. Don't freak out. And I'm coming close to the barrier. And I'm bracing for impact. And suddenly I'm going away from the barrier. Well, we spin around again. And then I see we're coming close to the edge of the cliff. At this point, I'm crying. I'm screaming at the top of my lungs. We're dead. This is it. I'm going to die with smelly gear bags. With you losers, like, this is it. I'm done. Car stops right in the middle of the road, like inches from the cliff. Nobody says a word for like 2 minutes. And we drive home. We didn't talk about this instance for like 6 months because of how much noise I made and how much I yelled at everybody because I thought I was going to die with them. And that's that story.
So you're quick to anger and quick to tears.
Oh, man. I thought that was it. 21 years old. Just left a strip club with a bed sheet. Come on, that is not the night that I want to go out on.
Awesome. I got another tweet actually for you guys. I kind of have to edit it, but at Rob Paccio GM, he wants to know if you could have like a round table. Let's say 4 guys and you at a round table. Who would it be?
How many people at the round table?
You and 4 other guys.
What are you talking about?
Like dead, alive, anybody you want, have a dinner with.
Oh wow. This is why I
give Scotty Slade a conniption.
Yeah. Well, because I said to Kathryn, I'm like, yeah, can you give me a heads up on like any questions? Because I don't want to sit here and go like, whoa, like what I'm doing now.
Sorry, it just came in.
That's fine. It's like me with Stan Lee about superheroes. It's ridiculous. Shurman, you go first.
I'd probably, I'd probably sit down with, if it was like wrestling themed or non-wrestling themed, I mean, I'd probably, Vince McMahon would be at the top of the list.
Okay.
If it's wrestling related, like, obviously I want to sit down with, like, probably,
Of course it's wrestling related, Shurman.
Bobby Heenan, I love that guy. If Brian Pillman was still around, I loved how cool Brian Pillman was. If he didn't die, he would have been a huge star. Round table, I like Rick Rude was awesome.
Nice.
And I love Razor Ramon.
Nice.
So that'd be my round table.
That'd be a cool table.
How about you, Scotty?
Wow. And I got to make sure that the people at the round table can get along.
You don't have to.
No, like I don't want
Normally
Warrior
get
to
flipped
sit
in
next to Hogan. Because if Warrior sits next to Hogan, then there's gonna be problems. If Savage is sitting at the table and hears about what Warrior and Hogan said about him after he died, that's gonna be even worse. These type of listen, I read comics for a living. Like this is like these scenarios pop through my head. Oh wow. Round table.
Yeah.
It would have to be Scott Hall. It would have to be Jericho.
Okay.
It would have to be
2 left.
I know. So tough. Yeah. Oh wow. I'm really terrible at this. I couldn't even name it. So many names are going through my head right now. Everybody from like Roddy Piper, even guys like Demolition who, I've had an opportunity to meet, like they're just great guys to sit around and talk to. Like X-Pac, like Road Dogg is somebody who I've always wanted to sit down and talk to. The list goes on. I couldn't.
Okay. Fair enough.
Now that we've given Scotty Slade a conniption and made him mad at us.
Brother.
Do you have any last questions, Jason?
Now you put me on the spot.
Yeah, I know, right? I just
Yeah,
like
that's
to turn
a
it
deal.
around on you.
you guys have any like good ribs or anything?
Good ribs? Yeah, when I was like my third year in, I got ribbed pretty hard. What had happened was this: I was on this weird like orange juice kick. I used to carry around this gallon of orange juice, and everybody hated my guts for it. And I was just like, I like orange juice. So I don't know if you know what niacin is.
Yes.
Okay, well, niacin in pill form, you're only supposed to take like 2. Well, they thought it would be funny to break up like 16 pills and put it in my orange juice.
Oh no.
So I get into the back and I start swigging my orange juice, and now I'm getting like hot, and I'm starting to like sweat, and everybody in the locker room's like, "Man, like you don't look good. You all right?" I'm like, "No, I'm getting really warm." It's like, "You should probably keep drinking that orange juice." Oh, you're right. And so I'm just drinking my orange juice. I'm getting warmer and hotter to the point that my face got so red it was like the 49ers red. And then like somebody had to come up to me and finally give in. They took the jug out of my hand. They're like, "Dude, like I don't know what's gonna happen to you, but they just put in like a half a bottle of niacin, and we had to stop." So for the remainder of the night, I sat there with people poking my face just to watch the blood rush completely back to my skin as I just profusely sweated everything out until the niacin wore off. It could have been hands down the worst night of my life.
Any from you, Shurman?
There's actually a freezer inside Fury's school, and after class I've like looked around for my because I go to wrestling school from work. I looked around for my dress pants and my my dress shoes, and like I've caught my sneakers in the freezer and inside the ceiling panels. Like mostly Handsome Johnny, and for the most part, he usually ribs me when he can, and he tries to hide my stuff, and I panic, and then he gets a good laugh out of it.
All right.
But nothing too big. I mean, I haven't been around that long.
We tried to surprise Shurman with the Tommy Dreamer thing at Breaking Point. We actually had booked Dreamer and kept it a secret up to about 24 hours before the show, and we were going to actually we were going to literally spring it on him live, call the match 3-on-2, and then have Dreamer come out and then just watch Sherman's genuine reaction of pure, markish stardom, as he likes to, break down into. But Shurman had just, being Shurman, decided he wanted to start pitching angles live on Twitter that would just make sense to him, and he just kept tweeting at Tommy Dreamer, trying to get him to come to the show. And the booker at Chaotic ended up just losing his mind and calling him up, screaming at him about why he has to be so dumb. Has to ruin everything.
3-on-2. It only makes sense if Tommy would come in.
Yep. I'm sure Tommy agreed because he was there.
That's it.
That's excellent.
Nice. So what's the future hold for you guys? What do you think?
Yeah, Shurman, we're going to be together for another 4 or 5 years. Realistically, I'm going to go until either I look old or my body just doesn't keep up. With the way that wrestling's going now, as far as the product's concerned, age is as important as it may be to a degree. The age limit's definitely gone up. And until it's not fun anymore, if I'm making a complete ass out of myself, is the way I look at it.
Yeah, Scotty Slade's 29 and he's older than me.
Okay, we don't need to bring that up. Okay. I'm only older than you by like 3 months.
Yeah, you're still older, man. You're an old man.
All right. Yeah, and when are you gonna stop?
Honestly, my goal. I'll be honest and real with you guys right now.
No, they want fake and phony.
Fine, I'll give you fake. I'm gonna be best until I'm 100. But I honestly, when I signed up for wrestling school at 25, I said I'm gonna quit at 30. If I'm not in WWE by 30, I am done. I'm 29 now. I looked in the mirror and I want to get my master's degree. I want to get married. I want to have a house, own a house, and have some kids. I don't think I could quit at 30. I don't know when or if I'm going to quit or how or when or why right now. But I think I'm going to stretch out. I'm not going to put a deadline on it like I was thinking when I signed up for wrestling school at 25.
Right on.
But, you know, like, there's days where I just want to quit. Like, just honestly, wrestling's so fun, but there's days,
Days I hope you quit too.
What?
You know? Just some days, I'd say every day.
You know, there's highs and lows. It really is a roller coaster ride. But the highs that I get from wrestling, from Ultimo fans, and there are memories. The Golden Tag Rope in CCWE, you know, the Cold Fury, you know, me and Scotty, and you know, it just there's so many highs that I can't stop right now.
Yeah, and Shurman's got nothing to worry about because once I'm done with wrestling, I do want to try my hand in promoting and you know, running a company. But obviously, you don't want to get caught in the crosshairs of running a company and trying to be an active wrestler in New England because that only causes issues. So.
Well, we could start our own company in New England.
No, there's no way I can work with you on that type of level. There's just no way. There's no way. There's no way.
Dude,
Shurman?
I'm from my own company, me and Biff Busick.
Hey,
And
sure.
East Coast Company and Elio.
All right.
That one.
This is what I deal with. He on his way home from work, he calls my phone about 6 or 7 times. If I don't pick up, and this is what he does. He rambles about how we're gonna run New England.
Honestly, it wouldn't be a bad idea. I've like learned a lot from wrestling and all these promotions. Like when I'm like 35, 40, you know, I get a couple of guys, you know, some solid people, you know, with me. I wouldn't mind, you know, running some shows here and there, you know, or at least taking a stab at it if I'm not in the WWE. You know.
No, I don't know. You'd still bring in Tommy Dreamer when he's past his prime, walking with the crutches and whatnot. No, I don't want to see you book a show.
What do you mean, dude? He's still valuable at 70.
No. There'd be one match. There'd be one match on the show, and all the other segments would be promos. That's all you would want in your shows.
No. Hey,
yes.
I'm that Raw is.
Oh my god.
Oh goodness. So I guess kind of as a closing, if for people who like me who have only started watching recently, if there was one moment that you wish every person who's watched wrestling has seen, what would that moment be?
For me, it's the it's tough because like I guess if you didn't know the background, it wouldn't be as big though.
The Shurman YouTube video.
No, I think she meant in wrestling, not on our level, dummy.
Oh, like of all time?
Yeah, on any level. I don't care.
Oh, is that what she meant? Yes. You got anything, Shurman?
Like the greatest moment of wrestling?
I don't know. At least with me, if you had known the backstory, like the moment that like I wish everybody could just experience for what it was at the time and how big of a deal it was Jericho's debut in Raw for WWF. If you were a fan then and you had followed the countdown and like everybody at the time knew it was going to be Jericho. The rumors were saying it was Jericho. Like I'm sitting there in front of my TV and I'm like, Jericho's coming on tonight. But still there was that like sliver of doubt that it wasn't going to be him. And when his music hit and his name came up on the Titantron, the reaction, like the goosebumps that I felt, and anybody that watched it at the time and was that big of a fan, like that's the type of experience that I hope, you know, that WWE now can do for the younger generations, like that pinnacle moment that, like, you know, they have their good stuff now, but it was such a big deal then that I don't know if that could be recreated for somebody just getting into wrestling. So.
I mean, for me, I mean, the Monday Night Wars was so huge. You know, just seeing like Scott Hall, you know, being a little kid seeing Scott Hall on Nitro was kind of weird. You know, but you know, one match like, if you want a wrestling match, one wrestling match like brought me in was definitely Bret Hart, Mr. Perfect, SummerSlam '91. You know, that match was so unreal, and like I was like, even like everything, even like that. Also, my second favorite match when I was a little kid was the whole Royal Rumble '92. They had all the biggest stars. The commentators were hilarious. If you just listen, like the whole, if you compare a picture of what a pro wrestling match and production, you know, there's a whole 60-minute story in that Royal Rumble match, and it brought me in. You know, there was times where wrestling could suck me out. All my buddies, you know, quit on watching wrestling, and I didn't. You know, and these are the moments I'm so loyal to wrestling. And those are the early stages that was like locked me in.
Excellent. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate you being here.
I just want to say,
is there anything else you guys want to throw out there before we let you go?
Yeah, actually, anybody that are big fans of you guys, obviously we want them to be big fans of us. So as far as for myself, the Twitter handle is, you know, at Scotty Slade. I know Shurman's is at Mark Shurman. You can find us both on Facebook under the respective names. Same thing with Instagram. I love posting terrible photos on there too. So.
Hello?
hello?
This is probably the point where Sherman's phone starts dying.
I want to say personally, guys, you guys are welcome back anytime. This was awesome.
Cool, I'll be here next week.
Yeah, are you gonna come to our shows?
Definitely.
Well, I come to almost every single one of your shows.
I like you.
Excellent. I actually met you for about 30 seconds, which is excellent. And then when I went to Ring of Honor in Providence, I accidentally sat behind Scotty Slade the whole night.
What?
It's
I
my
hope you
moment
brought
of
him.
happiness.
Then why didn't you say anything?
I said hello.
Well, yeah,
We're
but you know,
grumpy.
like I thought you were just hitting on me, so I just assumed like, all right, there's a girl behind me right now, and I'm pretty sure she digs me, but like I didn't know that.
Happens.
You can introduce yourself next time. So you must have saw me and Julian Starr jumping around like assholes for when Brian Fury came out.
Weren't we all?
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure there was a lot of people there just for Brian Fury.
That's a fact.
I was really sad because I went to that show, and literally the next show I went to because Chris Masters was there, and then he broke his ankle, and I was sad.
That's what happens. So I've been doing his neck
Right,
break
nobody
at
went
random shows ever since, showing him how it's done.
Yeah, and then we went to Zipper's Hospital after.
See how all the stories combine into one?
That's it. Comes around full circle.
Yeah, no, everybody thinks that I'm stalking you two because I keep going to shows, but all the shows in the area you guys are already at.
Yeah, absolutely. And you should just keep going to those shows. We'll be in. Where are we going to be Saturday, Sherman?
NECW, Derry, New Hampshire.
Derry. That's where it was. Derry. Yeah, Derry,
Yeah.
New Hampshire. We'll be in Lowell, Mass tomorrow, and then.
I know I'm going to Lowell. I'm pretty sure I'm going to Derry. It's like 20 minutes from my house. And it'll be officially the closest match ever to my house. So
Oh wow.
I'm excited.
October 26th, we'll be in Connecticut. We're going to be doing RWE, and then November 9th, we're doing NEW back in Bethany. What else are we doing?
Yeah, you're bouncing all around, man. How about this, Sherman?
that?
Tomorrow's
What's that?
in Lowell. Tomorrow's in Lowell for Chaotic Wrestling, and then we'll be back in Woburn. I believe it's October 11th with Chaotic Wrestling, and I believe that's going to be their Halloween themed show, which they always like to have somebody end up dressing up at some point. The atmosphere is a little bit more feel good that night. So especially if any of your listeners or even yourself that has children, all that other stuff, Woburn's the place to take them. So that
Don't
is
make more small children be there. It's like the worst thing ever.
so that's our upcoming appearances.
Right on.
It's exciting. Well, again, thank you guys so much. For all our listeners, don't forget to follow us on Twitter at MO Commentary, or you can follow me at BLMPLYR2, because I have to be complicated. Jason, I don't remember yours.
Decidedly so, 8.
Right. Excellent. Thank you guys so much. Everyone have a good night.
Hey, this is Bobby Blaze, Smoky Mountain Heavyweight Champion and former WCW Champion, and you're listening to the Marks on Commentary podcast. I'm here to plug my new book, Pin Me, Pay Me, Have Boots Will Travel. Don't forget to listen every week, every day. Download as often as you like, It's Bobby Blaze, and I'm telling you, I'm setting the world of wrestling on fire once again. Enjoy it, Marks on Commentary. Have a great day.